The next time the offering plate comes by you at church, remember this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. When I was a child, I always enjoyed the time in the worship service when the ushers passed the offering plate up and down each pew. At that moment, I could participate just like everybody else. When I was young, I couldn't read the words of the hymns, let alone the notes, so unless I knew the song, I couldn't sing along. I didn't always understand what the preacher was talking about, but I was just like everybody else when the offering plate came by. I could throw my nickel in the plate and be a part of worship like everybody else in the congregation. I could support missions and evangelism with the rest of the congregation. That was pretty cool. As Moses gathered the people of Israel at the foot of Mount Sinai, they received an offering for the Lord. Why? It's described in Exodus chapter 25, verses 1 and 2. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the people of Israel that they take from me a contribution. From every man whose heart moves him, you shall receive the contribution from me." Giving an offering to the Lord provides an extraordinary opportunity for worship. God tells Moses to receive an offering from the people for a specific purpose. The verses that follow describe how they would construct the tabernacle, a traveling tent designed to call the people of Israel to worship. The tabernacle would be a symbol of God's presence with his people. Our offerings today allow for the message of Christ to extend to our community and to our world. Your offerings support the ministries of your church and the missionaries around the world that your church supports. Talk about a gift that keeps on giving. Your offering today could give someone the opportunity to spend eternity with Jesus. The offering in Exodus chapter 25 was to be from every man whose heart moves him. This was an offering from the heart. No one was to be coerced or manipulated into giving. In other words, those whose love for God was so great they could not help but give. It was not a duty nor a responsibility, but an act of devotion and love toward the Lord. It was a recognition of all that God had done for them and a realization that they owed everything to him. It was also a recognition that they would be a part of God's will and plan. The offering was to be an exciting part of their life, a willingness to participate in the work of the Lord. 2 Corinthians 9:7 puts it this way: "Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work." As a child, my parents often had to coax me into finishing my supper. Coax is actually putting it mildly. Some nights, the supper time battle rivaled the Battle of the Bulge. However, after I spent a few weeks in college eating dorm food, I gulped down every bite of my mother's home cooking I could find, even the Brussels sprouts. I had gained a brand new perspective on Mom's home cooking. Giving out of a sense of duty because we have to is a joyless task. God never intended our offerings to be that way. As Christians, we do have a duty to support God's work in this world, but that duty should be one of joy as we realize we're participating in God's plan. The people of Israel no doubt had a sense of joy and expectation as they watched their jewelry and their offerings become a part of God's plan for the nation. We can have the same excitement as our offerings go to support the work of the church and the work of ministries and missions around the world. Giving should be an experience of joy for the Christian. So enjoy the offering at the next worship service you attend, because now you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.